This is episode 11 of StudioCast. I'm Nima.
I'm Randy.
And we're going to be talking about a movie, and we're going to be talking about like actual brains and our minds and everything else for this episode. But something a lot more exciting is we have two people with us. It's my brother Ali and Joe, and they're the other parts of Studio. And we're going to be talking about a new podcast that we're going to do and what it's going to be like. So you two assholes can say hi now.
Hello.
Shalom.
So obviously Ali's really excited about doing this gaming podcast. And between
Wait. First of all, it's
What?
good to have you guys on here.
Thanks for having us.
Wow.
You're welcome. You're
Someone's
welcome.
polite.
There you go. I
Okay.
know Nima's got a hard time with
At least
politeness.
half the party's polite.
all right, now that you guys are done talking, the four of us are into gaming, but it's a perfect level of how much and what kind of games we're into. Joe's into more of things that require a lot of time. So he's been into Warcraft. He's now into Hearthstone, and then probably I would say is Ali because he plays Counter-Strike, and obviously we're gonna play Overwatch. The three of us at least. I don't think you're gonna play it, Remy.
Yeah, I'm the least in video games here.
Yeah.
I used to play in my childhood, and I was quite good at it. But
Okay.
now I kind of stopped because, I have better things to do. But that's going to be the fun part of it.
Yeah.
Four different guys talking about their different, that they're differently involved in deep video games stuff.
So the two of you guys, you can take turns. What do you want to do for the gaming podcast? What are your ideas?
Oh, you want to start or?
No, go ahead.
I think for me, coming from the MMO background, I think it's just maybe what I got from MMOs, my gaming experience as a whole.
Joe, what's an MMO?
Sorry.
That's okay. Multi-massive online game. So basically, there's more than 5 people in the game or 10 people in the game. We're talking about hundreds of people playing at the same time.
Right.
So your interaction level with not only the game, but the social aspect of the game itself is vastly different than what it would be when you're playing Counter-Strike or Hearthstone. Where
it's like it's not as fast paced as like Battlefield and all these games. It's like you have to think more and make relationships within the game, I guess.
Yeah. So I think for me, maybe because I've been playing the game for so long, like I'm going on 11 years now. Just I guess maybe why I got so involved in it, and then why I've been involved for so long.
Dude, I thought we lost you for a second, but keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing is too, like Nima has said, I've switched games recently. I'm a big Blizzard fanboy, so I switched over to Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, even Overwatch as well too. As soon as that drops on May 24th, I'm going to switch over to that as well too. But I think a majority of that is because of the community that I've grown to know within all the Blizzard games is what keeps me tied to. I have friends that work for Blizzard, so. Just my experience with them, my camaraderie with them, and all my experiences over time has kept me so involved with all the different games. And
That's cool.
For those of you guys listening at home, I'm not 19 years old. I'm actually 36 going on 37. So I'm on the elder side of the video game community. I'm nowhere near the 17-year-old who plays, 25 hours a week because they don't have a job or a car or a life.
Right.
And all four of us have like full-time jobs, so our experience with gaming is definitely on the adult side of it, where we do it when we have time and when we can make time.
Yeah.
So Joe, like really, really quick, so we can switch to Ali. Like, what's your goal? Like, what kind of things do you want to do for the game with the gaming podcast? Like, what are your ideas?
I know. So a lot of times I get in fights with you guys about why you guys don't want to play the same game as I do. And I know it's because you guys don't have the same experience that I do. So maybe I can just shed some light on why I find that so attractive versus playing 5 minutes in a Battlefield game and then going, this was fun. What are we going to do next?
Yeah, that's completely different approach. That's great.
Yeah, and you can tell us about it, and you can like try to convince us. And the same with what I'll do is I'll try to convince you guys about the games that I know. And on top of that, we can talk about like the news and stuff. So how about you, Ali? What are you thinking?
Well, I want to find out why Joe finds WoW and boring games very appealing. I think that like since we were like I've known Joe, like him and I have been trying to convince each other to play the other games. So I'm more like an FPS and he's more like a strategy MMO type of thing. So I think that would be very interesting. At the same time, I want to talk about get your guys' thoughts on the whole like building like team leads and like leaderships and like strategic thinking when people play games. Like there've been studies about how playing games can affect your personality and creativity in on a daily life. And I think that's like a lot of people kind of look down upon just the whole gaming experience.
Ollie, can I cut you off for a second?
No, go ahead.
Can you give the listeners some kind of feedback as far as your background with video games? I know that you played competitively for a long time.
Wow,
Yeah.
you guys are pretty good.
Yeah,
you can just host a whole
CS
podcast.
in Cal, Maine, and then play Day of Defeat, and I'm playing like CS:GO right now, but not competitively, just for fun, because I suck now. Like the game has changed so much from where it was to now, and then just, as we talked about, we're all grown up now that we don't have the time and investment to put into it to be,
That's very unfortunate. I wish we had more time to play video games.
Yeah, that is very true. Like just playing games and then just unloading at the end of the day, I think that's very fun, especially like when you play with your friends.
Yeah.
That's a different aspect. But I don't know. I like to talk about games, and it seems like a lot of people look down upon it, thinking as a negative, as opposed to like I know Joe was talking about before about like how companies looking at whether or not you were playing games or WoW, and they were recruiting people based on that because it shows leadership and creative thinking.
That's amazing. I think I heard about this once a long time ago, but that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's true. Like there was a recent study from like University of South Carolina that how playing games can excel you in life and in your job and creative thinking and leadership and that kind of stuff.
Just all around good for your brain.
Yeah, overall, it just it's a positive thing. Obviously, if you have a life outside of it. Everything in moderation is good.
Yeah. So we're gonna, Remy, you play less than any of us.
Yeah. So I'm not here. I am not here to diss on video games. I love video games. I wish I had more time to do video games, but some other aspects of my life I've definitely taken priority, and we can talk about that. I can be like how do you call it, devil's advocate or something, or no, it's the whatever. But yeah, I mean, I love video games. Playing online with friends, like Battlefield especially, which is probably one of the last games I've played with you, Ali. I remember playing with you.
Yeah,
I think with
so
Joe
fun.
too.
Yeah, I think Joe might have been there too.
And like those were probably some of my favorite times playing video games, like online, fast-paced with friends, where you got to think quick on your feet. And now the games are so advanced that they let you do all kinds of shit with just a controller, and that's awesome. So you can really like customize everything you're doing and be a badass with your team.
So Joe and Ali, next week we're thinking about doing this. Like I know this is probably not the best time.
Next Saturday morning.
Next Saturday morning. Are you both okay with that?
Yeah.
If we can do it, the earlier the better for me.
Yeah, we want to do it early.
Another thing I want to piggyback on is Remy's idea, like having time or work and stuff. Like I want to talk about the whole gaming and streaming and being able to like make kind of sort of income out of it. Like YouTube gaming just went on beta very recently, like Twitch and that kind of stuff. I think that would be cool.
Because you're really into that, right? Like broadcasting, things like that.
Yeah, like I'm getting into it. Like Joe and I, or with Nemo and I, we've like been talking about like having like our own like league and stuff. But yeah, like broadcasting it, like sharing your experience with other people, like on Twitch and stuff and YouTube, and then getting ad revenues out of it. I think that's very, very interesting. That's something new.
Yeah, I'd love to learn about that.
So how do you guys feel about doing this once a month?
I'm in. I can do it
Once a month? I could take up a week just talking about World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
So
like, I
no,
would like
that's
to do it like
that's
once
part
a
of what
week.
I'm saying is with the regular podcast that we've been doing so far, it's like quick hits. We can get in, talk about some BS, and get out. Right? With gaming, all four of us have so much to talk about and so much to say. We can do once a month, pretty long episodes, and because obviously we're gonna, on top of that, you and Joe and Ali, you're both recording video of your games, and you're gonna be publishing those online too. So we're gonna have quite a bit of content. I think it becomes a issue of maybe logistics to try to see how often we can do it. That's why I think once a month. But that's just me. That's just my thoughts. Like,
Well, again, is more than an hour really going to be like people are really going to sit down and listen to all that?
as long as it's interesting, people listen to 4-hour podcasts.
Well, what we
then-
can do is like we can shoot like 4 hours or whatever, like talking shit the entire time, chit chatting. but we can break it down as far as editing goes to like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we talk about like one thing, and then we change the subject to like other aspects of things.
Sure.
So like I don't know, when Overwatch comes out, we can talk about our experiences.
Dude, we should talk
after
about
we played
Overwatch
it.
next week. I mean, obviously not spend hours talking about it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Joe loves it. I think Ali, you love it. So we need to fucking convince Remy to love it too. But we'll see.
I'm excited just to have the possibility of Remy playing again, like not as hardcore as like us, the rest of us, but like having Remy with playing. I remember like playing with Battlefield. That was so much fun.
That's
You
fucking
can play
awesome.
Overwatch. Like the game's like 6 minutes long. You got time for that.
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to explain to Remy that Overwatch is a perfect kind of game for him. But at the same time, this is another thing we can talk about during our podcast is Remy's never played games on the computer. He probably never will play games on the computer.
No,
He's
I've played a game on the computer.
What, like Minesweeper?
There's that.
Solitaire. So he's a
Deck
console
Solitaire.
gamer.
Remy-
Solitaires is shit. No, I play Age of Empires. That was
that's right.
cool, man.
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah, that's a great game. But then my attention
Age of
span got
Empires-
shorter, so
And it's funny because like Joe, I assume like I don't want to say famous, but he's pretty known like in the WoW community. Like
That's
in
awesome.
his group of people, he's been part of guilds and stuff.
hey, can you
At
get
least-
us free tickets when we all four of us go see the movie and podcast about it afterwards?
Well,
Crickets.
I will be here.
Oh, that's right. He's in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't wait, what?
He's in
Um,
Wisconsin that
to-
week. I told you.
and to-
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Keep talking,
You'll
Joe.
have to do mine via satellite.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we're gonna do.
Well, there is a convention in November that I've been trying to get Neiman Ali to go to for like 10 years. Blizzard hosts a convention for all of their games, and I go every year. So, and I'll tell you this, I'm quote unquote nerd famous there as well too. But like if you guys would go to that thing, I promise you, the day you left the convention, you'd be like, I need to get home and play video games immediately because your life just kind of flipped upside down when you're around 50,000 other people that are all like-minded in the same aspect that you are with everything around you. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah. Dude,
Visually,
conferences and conventions are great. I go to an audio one. It's the same thing. I come home. I just want to play music, record music, and listen to music. It's just awesome.
yeah. Just get inspired. I mean, because again, you're around 50,000 other people that are all like-minded.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're gonna have a lot to talk about. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start taking notes on it, and you guys too. And what I'll do is I'll just share a Google document with all four of us about what the possible structure could be. So, and then you guys can take over. Remy mentioned that he might not be able to make it to every single episode just because he's gonna have an insanely busy summer. But if I'm in town, yeah, I want to talk about games forever. So.
Yeah, I'll be there next Saturday.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So you guys get ready for it. We're gonna awesomely and rudely hang up on the two of you guys. But thanks for joining, and then we'll fucking do this shit this next Saturday.
As Nima says, we will fucking do this shit.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Nice talking to you guys. Bye.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
That went well.
Air high five on
Air
that.
high
But,
five.
dude, that's gonna be really awesome.
Great success.
Yeah. Thanks to Ali and Joe for joining.
Yeah,
Ali's
thanks,
my
guys.
brother. Joe's
Someone we don't know. We picked him up off the streets.
Dude, no, we've known Joe for so long, so long. Like
Joe's
I've
cool. I
known
like
Joe,
Joe.
probably a little bit less than I've known you.
No, probably longer. I
No.
thought no.
I met you.
school, right?
Junior year of high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met him after I graduated high school.
Wow.
So just like a year or so apart.
Yeah.
But we've known him. We're into gaming, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about gaming. It's
So,
gonna
so back to today's subject was that movie that you had me watch, this documentary.
We're not there yet.
Super interesting. Why not?
we have a whole bunch of shit that I want to talk about. So, before we even get to that, you and I cannot pronounce some people's names. I want to say it's
No.
mostly me.
No, it's me too.
So-
I can't pronounce half the words in the English language.
About
properly.
that. I feel like I owe you an apology because
For
last
what?
episode I corrected you on I made a joke about you saying scarcity versus scarcity.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm right. I feel like scarcity could be a proper pronunciation. of it.
scarcity.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
I feel
Thanks.
like it's kind of been bothering me on the
It's all
inside.
right. Thanks. It warms my heart.
But on the other end, I was listening to a podcast last week. There's
one?
a guy, there's an actor
a different
whose
one.
name is incredible. Like not his name. His acting is incredible. Probably one of the most amazing actors that are coming up now. His name is Michael Fassbender.
Okay.
I pronounce his name as Michael Fassbender. Yeah.
How do you mess that up?
I don't know. And I was like, that can't be right. So I Googled it. I'm like, no, it's not. And then Darren Aronofsky, the incredible director of Pi and all those weird movies, I pronounce his name as Darren Darrenofsky. So he can just be known as Darrenofsky. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. What we're also trying to do, this is really awkward. Thanks, Remy. What we're also trying to do is try to breathe less into the microphone. No, but have you found any cool things this week?
Did I find any cool things this week?
What cool shit?
I don't really
Sorry,
remember.
guys. That's me.
Same as mine. We already established that. Sorry. I don't remember. I was so busy this week with work. It's summer. I'm not liking the 100-degree weather today.
We broke 100 degrees.
I watched Daredevil, but the first 2 episodes, pretty cool. It's the same guy that plays Nookie's wife's love interest in Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Boardwalk Empire.
He's a good actor.
He's British, isn't he?
I don't know.
I feel like he is.
I think he's Irish. Oh, he was Irish as a character, but he probably was Irish too, or is because he's not dead. And then the news, Bernie is pretty much over, but he's not giving up. He just won Indiana yesterday.
He did win Indiana.
And then
Trump is the nominee.
Like as of 2 hours ago, Kasich and Cruz are bye-bye.
Yeah. I have a colleague of mine at work that's a Republican. She's always been a conservative.
Yeah.
And she was like, Trump is not going to be a nominee. This was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So today I told her, I was like, he's going to be a nominee.
People said that?
Yeah.
I've said that. Everyone said that. But here he is. And props to him because he's smart to be able to get there.
He is, but can we finally acknowledge that the Republican Party has a huge problem if this is the dude that's representing you guys?
Yeah. But he is smart.
Nobody's saying he's not smart, but he's like I don't even believe that he's a nationalist, sexist, pig, racist asshole. But he's driving all those people who are those things to come out to vote for him, and that should be embarrassing. That should be a problem.
It is, but at the same time, it's great because it shows the rest of the country how many of those people are out there and how far behind we are as far as like a nation of progress. So it's a good. It just kind of like showed everybody where we're at. It kind of gauged the country as far as like, so there is a lot of people that really, they what's the word I'm looking for? They breathe with that mentality.
They're on the same level with it. They totally get it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just it's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but it's like the reality that we live in now because, like you said, as of today, it's 99.9% sure that this is the Republican nominee for the general election this year.
Yeah.
So that could be something that's a little bit terrifying.
It totally is.
And I was just on the way here, they were talking about the fundraising that he's done so far because he led his own campaign, something like $38 million, right? So that means he has to raise money now. Does that mean can the campaign ever pay him back? Because he lent it. I
don't think he cares about that.
He does. Well, he should. But the thing is, like, he's been going around saying that I'm using my own money, I'm not doing fundraising. But he's not really saying the legality where he lent the campaign money. He didn't give the campaign money.
Right. He lent it.
Yeah.
He didn't give the money to the campaign. Oh, what?
Same thing with Romney. That's
so how does that work? Like when people like, you obviously need to have a lot of money to start a campaign.
Not really.
Then he did.
Yeah, he did. And same
by
with
lending
Romney.
The money to his own campaign, is that like pretty much he's starting another? He started a business just for that can give money to.
Kind of. The way it works is that if you lend your own campaign money, I don't know all the laws yet, but you have the option, and the way most people do it is that the campaign pays you back. Once a campaign has raised enough money through the regular way, like, the way Clinton.
What about
all
the people that give money, like thousands and thousands of dollars?
So technically, should he pay himself back? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Does he have enough time to raise enough money to pay himself back the $38 million or something that he lent the campaign? And if not, then does the Republican Party itself, because now they're going to have to focus on raising money for the general election. They don't want to raise money to pay the primary election, which he paid himself out of. Like he's acting like a selfless hero that he's using his own money. He doesn't need to fundraise, but he's not using it. He lent the campaign money, and when you loan, the understanding is that you will get paid back. But that's another thing that he's doing is that he's acting like he's this dude that's using his own money. He said, I'm super rich. I'm very rich.
He lent the money.
He lent the money. He's not telling
Expecting it
anybody.
back.
Yeah, he's not telling anybody that he's not telling. It's annoying. I hate how much he lies to everybody. Well, whatever. So cool thing this week, just last night, watch episode 2 of Game of Thrones. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, Game of Thrones. That's right.
It is awesome. And
It was, dude. I mean, I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me anymore. It's like, okay, all right, you guys are toying around the fact that he's gonna wake up. Spoiler alert, everyone. Sorry.
I didn't care.
And it's like, all right, just do it already. And then it's like last scene, I'm like, all right, the thing is almost an hour long. It's like, all right, he's gonna wake up now, and then boom.
Like that wasn't so much the exciting thing. Like that episode wrapped up quite a bit of things. Like it started a whole bunch of things that for me was awesome. Now we have the story of the kid again. They talked about Hodor.
Bran. The kid's name. The one that we didn't see last season.
The one that
crippled.
goes white and that's awful.
Well, you know, I've watched Archer too. I watched the last season. They say that word all the time. They don't care what they say.
So that for me, that's exciting. To go back to that kid, it's exciting. To talk.
That was really interesting.
But how about who's the other guy? Who's the one that's a eunuch now? What's his name?
Yeah, I don't know.
The one that was treated like a dog.
Yeah, the one
his story is fascinating.
The one that's helping Sansa.
Yeah,
Sansa,
correct.
Whatever.
So now we have his story, which is amazing. Yeah. But we also have the story of the asshole guy who tortured him and how he kills his dad. That was exciting for me. That's insane.
Oh yeah, that's right. That happened too. And then his actual father got killed after arguing with his sister by his own brother or something like that.
I think so. So that episode was filled with things.
Yeah, it's a really big episode. Yeah. That's true.
That's why I loved it. But also on the YouTube, I sound like an old guy. On YouTube, I found a Persian version. An acoustic Persian version of the Game of Thrones theme. And
that is a great band name, by the way.
Persian version?
Hello, we are the Persian version.
So I'm going to post that in the link dump on the website.
That's cool. Like it's all using old instruments.
It's like using traditional. It sounds like that. Exactly. And it's so awesome.
And then there's a flute in the background like. It was so more like a trumpet.
But we're also going to start on this episode, not this episode, but on the podcast as a whole, we're going to try to do like different things. And one of the things we want to do is
we've been doing this.
We want to start answering questions. Oh, is it speaking? Yeah, it is, I guess.
What?
Right?
What?
I see myself. Never mind. So I just found some dumbass questions online.
I remember what I wanted to talk about.
Go ahead, interrupt me.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, guys. If any of you guys listening right now have been subscribing or are thinking of doing so, or this is not the first episode you've listened from us, please leave us questions, comments, anything, and we promise you that we will talk about it, next episode.
Correct.
or an episode after that. Just because we want to get our audience more involved, and it probably makes for great content, and we want to make that. And so if you can help us, just anything. Yeah. Questions about what we talked about, what you'd like for us to talk about. If it's dumb, we'll still talk about it briefly. Whatever goes at this point.
Tell us where you're listening from. Yeah, be part of the show. That's what we want to do.
And then today we tried Skype and it worked beautifully, so we might be able to do that too.
Oh yeah. Remy's mic just went flaccid. Flaccid.
Flaccid. I almost said that. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Sorry I cut you out, dude.
That's okay. So I said to get ready for that, I found some ridiculous questions online to see if you can answer them. All right. So first one is the average Democrat stupid? Why would anyone ever vote for somebody who's pending an indictment? So go.
Is she really pending on indictment?
Not really. There's just an investigation right now.
Then it's not really a good question.
Yeah, it's not. It's a very one-sided question. Next. Where should I go if I'm cutting school?
If you're cutting school?
Yeah, if you're trying to ditch
with a
school.
knife?
No, like if you... Oh, God. If you're trying to ditch school.
Where should you go?
Yeah.
Instead of ditching school?
No, if you're ditching school, where should you go? Like where should you go on that day?
Oh, just for one day. Like if you plan on just ditching for the day, where should you go?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just go hike, go do something with nature.
Go hike? Really?
Never mind. Go get some meth and stay in your bathtub. I don't know. Like,
just meth and stay in your bathtub.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying if a kid's gonna skip school, they're not gonna go for a hike.
What are they gonna do?
I don't know. Do kids go to the mall?
Well, you asked me a question.
But your answer's wrong. I want to shut it down as quickly before.
How is it wrong? It's an open-ended question.
What kid do you know that will take the advice of go for a hike on it? Am I that bad of a person?
I don't know. I don't understand your question. You asked me a question. What should you... So if you are listening to this and are planning dish school for the next week...
Yeah.
Don't do anything stupid. Just go for a nice hike. Go play with your dog. Go, I don't know, just go ride your bike around.
So positive.
Well, I mean, dude,
I feel like this should be bad advice. That's really good advice.
If you're an entrepreneur in the making and science bores you, just go, make your awesome business happen and make your life happen the way you want.
God, I'm almost disappointed because that's such good advice. I wasn't expecting good advice.
What?
I was expecting go to the mall or something. I don't know if kids go to the mall.
What? Okay, all right. No, the mall. The mall is dying. You know who filed for bankruptcy today?
Who?
Aeropostale.
Who?
They're like a clothing company that you find in the mall. Postal.
I don't know.
Aeropostale.
I don't know much about it.
Wow, I really suck at pronouncing stuff.
No, I don't think. I think you're fine. It's just it sounds like a dumb name, so it's not your fault.
Yeah, you know that company.
I really don't.
It's like Hollister.
I don't.
Oh, all right. See, exactly. That's good.
I buy shit online.
Anyways, my point is malls are dying.
Okay, so
fine. You don't care. It's all good. But malls are dying.
No, I do care. I care deeply. Next question. No, this one's way too deep.
Shoot.
Since Mexico has a national health insurance and gun bans, why aren't liberals wanting to move there instead of Canada? Yeah, I'm just going to skip this one. How about this?
Because then you have to learn Spanish.
That's not why. Because you don't want to... Just because you disagree with the way shit goes in this country, and you want to move to a different one, doesn't mean you have to automatically go to a lesser one. We compare ourselves. We should compare ourselves to Canada, to UK.
Well, who says Mexico is lesser?
Mexico has awful corruption,
yes,
horrible kidnapping, absolutely awful poverty. But
there's got to be some things in Mexico that are better than here.
Food,
other than
amazing
the drugs
people,
and everything else. Yeah, maybe the food, maybe the amazing
beaches.
People. It's the lifestyle. Maybe some people like better. Like it's great to have this secure lifestyle here, and the 9-to-5 job and the picket fence house, whatever, the American dream. Some people don't want that. Some people want this every day. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to be surrounded by people, and some people like that a lot better. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Mexico
I'm right.
City must be amazing.
There's like 7 billion people on Earth. Like everybody wants something else.
Next question.
Yep.
How do you skin a grizzly bear?
I would get a very, very, very sharp knife with a very pointy end, and just a bit small one, like maybe a 4 or 5 inch blade.
Okay.
With a nice handle, and I'll just try on one of the legs and see what's the best way to skin it.
At the leg.
No, I'll just start skinning it from the leg, and if that works out, I'll do the whole body. If not, I'll try something else on the other leg. When I find the right thing, then I'll just skin the whole thing.
Yeah.
Question to you: what do you do with a bear's skin? Gosh, this is so morbid. I would never do that.
I know,
to
this
a living
sounds
creature.
awful, right? Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to use it as a carpet? Isn't that what they do?
We're like 30 minutes in. Are we going to talk about the movie?
Yeah,
Are we getting there?
So the next question
Sorry,
is...
Nima, we're following his very, very organized...
Which, by the way, you have access to this if you were looking at it. Just want to
Yeah, but it's so busy with
Next
stuff.
question is, does the brain hardwire itself against trauma? So it won't...
We have to ask a neuroscientist about this. I don't know.
All right, let's move on. So what movie did we talk about?
There you go.
What movie did we talk? What
was it?
It's called My Beautiful Broken Brain.
Oh, what was the guy? One of the executive producers who's also
David Lynch. I don't know any of his movies. I know he's famous.
But he I guess she got a hold of him, and he helped produce this movie. But she pretty much had all the footage.
What you're seeing during the movie is the movie being made.
Yeah.
He gets involved at the end of it and agrees to basically, I assume,
But
work on releasing it.
Okay, so that's how he got involved as a producer.
Yeah.
Executive producer, I think it was. I'm trying to find your document on Google.
It's okay.
So why did you want us to do this movie? What was so fascinating about it to you?
Dude, for me, like there's a lot of different angles about this movie that I'm intrigued by. What happened to her was awful, right? Her reaction to it and seeing... Beautiful reaction. Beautiful reaction. And beautiful girl, by the way. She's stunning. But like her reaction to it and seeing her go through it was nothing but heartbreaking. Like when she was standing in front of those pictures and
Are you kidding? She had like some of the most awesome revelations like most of us just hope to achieve.
No, I agree. And that's one of the things I want to talk about is when the brain reset, basically, she started discovering a lot of things. But even before that, when she was struggling right after the
Wow. That was my computer glitching hardcore.
Yeah, and you tell me to buy a new computer. So our computer took a dump a little bit. And
we probably lost like 10 minutes of conversation. So what were we talking about? You were talking about the girl and something.
Oh, I was talking about how in that moment, I was talking about how when she was recovering from her stroke and what happened, what's the problem?
No, there's nothing. The input gain keeps going up and I'm not even adjusting it. So it's really weird. Maybe I am. Don't worry about it. Just keep talking.
Am I pretty? No, I'm not. I'm regular.
You're good.
I'm average Nima.
Yeah, average Nima. Da-da-da.
So what I was saying is that, and I even took a note about this when I was rewatching a movie. It's a really heartbreaking thing to see her go through that.
I disagree. Of course it is.
No,
yes.
I'm talking about the immediate thing. Seeing a human being who supposedly was really articulate.
Right after she comes back and she's like trying to talk.
Yeah.
And her brother also like.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that British accent is one of my favorite British accents. Because England has a whole bunch of accents. And
Really?
that one is one of my favorites.
Never paid attention to any different accents.
Oh, God. Yeah, they have a lot of different dialects and accents. So what I was saying is that it was heartbreaking to see her go through it. It was fascinating to see her record it and recover from it.
Yeah.
But then obviously as the movie goes on, she has another stroke. And it's just like...
Oh, yeah. That was knowing. That's like, oh, dang it. Poor girl.
Yeah, and the researchers' reaction to that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about. The researchers' reaction to that, how do you feel about it?
Refresh my memory.
So what happened is she had a stroke to getting just tiny amounts of electrocution sent to her brain.
That's the second time around.
Yeah, basically. That's how she got the second stroke.
Oh, that's right.
So when she found out, her doctor told me, hey, that could be possible. It could be because of those electrocutions that were sent to your brain. She goes back, she talks about it. They talk about her results during the research. And she kind of brings it up. It's like, hey, could this be caused by that? And they're like, yeah. They said they agree. If you had brain damage, slight
Doing
electrocutions could make it worse. You could have another stroke.
Yeah.
And she basically asked, are you going to tell people about this? And they were kind of like,
I remember.
They were like, we don't want to limit the number of people that we're researching.
That was really interesting. And she keeps asking, and he's like, it's not up to me and it's not up to you. There's a group of us that decides on these things.
But is he right in the science of things? Well, you want to test on as many as possible.
That's where science and newer technology and fixing people becomes that's the ethical thing, is that you have to try shit in that field in order to make the right technology and fix the people the right way. But you can't, you have to try things and see how it goes. And she was some kind of guinea pig on that one. But that's part of science. That's part of medicine, I believe.
I agree.
And it's a weird ethical thing. And that's why it was kind of an awkward thing for that doctor, I think, because it's not up to either of us. It's like a group of us. That's when they get together and decide like, is this okay? And someone probably says, like, in the name of science, yes, we have to.
Yeah, but I think what it should be, and I think an easy solution to that, hopefully, is simply disclosing when you're getting volunteers for your research, right?
Right.
So going forward, obviously this hadn't happened to them before, but so going forward,
if she wasn't asked, like, if they knew that she could go through a seizure or an epileptic seizure because of her past trauma to her brain. If they knew that this therapy they were doing, speech, they were pretty much sending, like you said, electrical impulses.
Reconditioning her brain, basically.
Yeah, and that involves small electrocutions on her head, but they're like tiny,
very small, basically.
Very small, and they knew that this could induce a seizure. Yeah, they did. I think he says that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they did. And if she wasn't told that, that's why the doctors have you sign like 18,000 pieces of papers, and she might have just signed one of them that says like, you might have an epileptic seizure because of this treatment. And whether that happened or not, it's just part of science moving
I
forward,
agree.
man.
And I think science research specifically, it needs to be broad. It needs to include everybody. We can't limit it to individuals and the impact it could have on individuals, because that defeats the whole purpose of moving science forward.
That's right.
So as much as that was awful for her to go through that reaction to that research, I think obviously the research should go forward.
Yeah.
Just simply disclose to everybody that's volunteering.
Yeah.
If you have brain damage, this increases your chances. But
you
us
can
as
opt out of it if
yeah.
you want, but we don't know any other ways to help you with your therapy.
This could be
speech,
beneficial
whatever.
to not only to you,
Yeah.
but to future folks who have had.
But
brain
you take
damage.
the risk
Yeah.
of having seizures.
Yeah, for the greater good, right?
Or worse, for the greater good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully that's what. Oh, you know what I heard today?
What?
I found this article about education in Finland.
Okay.
And another thing I heard today about Finland, this kid on Instagram found some kind of way to delete people's comments, and Facebook, who owns Instagram, gave him like a few $1,000s
Yeah.
for being a bug hunter or bounty. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Finland though. Kids in Finland, they pretty much don't have homework. School is only a few hours long, including lunch. They pretty much play outside the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're ranked number 1
Yeah.
in education. You know what number we are?
30 something.
29th. That's sad, man.
I agree.
I do not want to have kids here. I mean, this is another reason why I don't want to have kids here, because unless I send them to an expensive school, like I'm scared of I don't know.
I think the thing is with our K through 12 education is awful. Our college education at least has a name brand that goes along with it that is renowned across the world.
Sure, but again,
But as far as what you
that's
learned in
changing.
college, I
Man.
agree. That's completely changing.
I mean, you paid the $200 to have the name of the school you went to on your, whatever you call that, resume. But maybe the content of the education that you went through is nowadays might not be, depending on the field you're in, might not be worth a lot.
Yeah.
How many times you've heard stories of people our age that went through 8 years of college because they were told that this is a good job in the future. It turns out advancements in technology or this and that made that job kind of obsolete, and now they owe like $200,000-300,000 to the government or whatever, and they can't find a job because they didn't study the right things.
Correct.
That's annoying. It shouldn't be that expensive for that reason.
No, I agree. That's why in Europe, I don't want to, in Western European countries, the countries that we should be comparing ourselves to, not Ukraine, not those, I don't know why people keep comparing us to that. They're like, hey, do you want to be like that? No. But in those countries that actually have their shit together or are actively working on getting their shit together, like Germany, like Finland, like England, it's very common for kids to take a year off after high school to figure out who you are, live life, and then start college. And B, college is free because it's an investment for your country to want to better you because you're going to be added to economy later down the line. So those are all things we don't have here.
Why? Because they want to make money. It sucks, dude. It really sucks.
During this whole movie that we just watched, and this is something I was watching it with my girlfriend. I was telling her this. I was like, her brain trauma is awful. All those things are awful. But one thing that doesn't even come up even remotely is, and compare that to something that would have happened in, let's say in the US, if that ever happened to me in the US, financial hardship from her trauma is not even brought up once. It's not a concern.
Do you think it's not even existent?
I think it might be existent, but the way, as far as my memory works, and if anybody's from those European countries, correct me if I'm wrong, when hardship like that happens, the government's main job is to make sure you're okay. So your healthcare is obviously covered.
Yeah.
The medical community is taking care of that.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they might be covering your rent during you going through that trauma.
Because you can't go to work, yeah.
Correct. So you have countries like Canada who are trying basic income. Like some European countries have that as well, where you're simply getting money for being a citizen and being a resident of that country. So your basic income for you to live is subsidized or covered by the government. So if that whole thing ever happened to somebody within US, if that ever happened to me, if I had a stroke, my debt would go unpaid, right?
Right.
I would have over $100,000, probably about $500,000 in additional healthcare debt added on top of it because healthcare is not free.
Right.
For me to have those surgeries, those doctors, it would cost me as an individual so much money that the rest of my life, or immediately after I recover, I am completely screwed.
Yeah. And you're worthless.
I'm completely worthless.
You can't achieve your dreams.
Yeah.
You can't really be of service to the global economy of the US. It's all backwards, man. It's weird. Do you think that is because at the beginning when they were trying to figure out healthcare and all that, or as it was happening, there was already a big divide among the people living here? I mean, there's always been, but by big divide I mean like some people are like, okay, well, I believe I'm living my life a healthy way. And so I know I'm not going to have to go to the, doctor all the time to get fixed. And so if by my standards, you, my neighbor, are living not in a good way, you're always going to get sick because of your lifestyle. Why should I pay for your bad decision in lifestyle? Which is, it
valid,
makes sense, but maybe it started back in the day with that mentality, and now, if something bad happens to you, it can be blamed on your lifestyle, and people still do that.
Yeah, but this is something you and I talked about God, I love doing this. You and I talked about a couple episodes ago. United States and us Americans, and whoever becomes American, we usually tend to adapt the mentality of individualism.
Right.
Meaning, I have the quote unquote freedom to become a winner, and everything's within my decision making. If I do everything right, if I try hard enough, everything will go great.
Right.
I think the mentality that we need to adapt, and I'm not saying any other country has
You mean
it. I don't
individuality, like master of your own destiny?
Master of your own destiny, meaning if your life is falling apart, if, let's say, whatever happened, it's your fault. You did this to yourself.
Yeah.
So why should I be responsible for
something
what
that you did, a choice that you made back in the beginning of your life, somewhere in the past 30, 40, 50, however old you are, affected your moment now, which can be true, but can also be completely not true.
Correct. And it's slightly selfish. You can think of it as a positive thing because it gives the confidence or the boost to a lot of us that can use as a good thing. Meaning, if I work my ass off, if I become healthy, if I do enough, I can become successful.
Right.
Like I can become a winner.
Right.
Like I feel like us as a whole, as a society, need to keep that mindset because we need to keep pushing science, pushing culture, pushing everything forward,
but not
at the expense of other folks.
Yeah, not at the expense of other folks, but also not just for ourselves, for our people around us, our community, and if you're that open-minded, then for the whole world and humanity, if you're even more open-minded.
Yeah, we need to. God,
but I mean, I know I'm not that open-minded right now. I that whole master of your own destiny thing. I'm like running on that, and I'm getting high from it. Like I'm getting my life the way I want my life to go, and I'm getting where I want pretty much, slowly but surely. I have that confidence. I'm afraid that the country I live in, and again, I'm not doing that on purpose, but I have no doubt that the fact, whatever I'm doing to get to, having a few businesses going at the same time and being successful, is probably going, the term you used earlier, like it's probably affecting someone not the right way. I mean, I hope not, but
no, that's fine.
How do you
do your part? Just do your part. Nobody's saying you shouldn't chase your dream of success, whatever that dream is, right? You should always go for that, but you shouldn't take an approach that you're gonna look at other people and be upset about what they're doing and how it's not fair against you and all those things. You shouldn't do that. And B, as long as you're doing your part, pay your taxes, be part of the community, help people, like do the healthy things you need to do, help the environment, help yourself, be positive, do your part, then that's fine. Nobody's saying you shouldn't chase those dreams.
No, I know.
Don't be saying that, hey, I don't want to pay my taxes because this other person's not chasing their dreams or doing it. That part don't do. Yeah,
don't do. But at the same time, the people who argue that there's deadbeats out there who are literally taking government's money, that is wrong, man.
They shouldn't be taking the government's money?
They shouldn't be deadbeats like that.
Yeah, but we're not
There is people like that. There's not as many as a lot of the conservative folks are saying there is. And so they need to relax on their comments on all that because not everyone is a lazy person. there's a lot of people that are trying really hard, but because of some of the laws that are in place, they can't get anywhere. That sucks. How do we fix all that? Again, the country's too big. But we went on a tangent, and that's probably
I want to be on this tangent because that's the kind of mindset. Imagine like you're on the Titanic, right? And the boat sank. You're in a lifeboat with 12 other people, right? And you're sitting there. You're working ass off, rowing to get to wherever you need to go. And you're seeing on the other side of the lifeboat, there's this douchebag who's not even rowing. He's just chilling there. He's like, "Hey, I'm cold. I'm whatever."
Yeah.
So that doesn't give you the right to not row and help the lifeboat. You still need to do it.
You still need to do that.
So
but you take on the burden of people who don't want to help.
But you and so are the 11 other
That's
people or
right.
the 10 other people. So as much as that sucks, we have deadbeats, and we will continue to have deadbeats.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just part of the world.
Humanity.
Right.
Doesn't mean you get to be selfish and
No,
as much
it
as that
doesn't.
sucks. Like be angry about it all you want.
You can't
but
use
deal with it.
You can't use that small excuse to say fuck it, I'm at it alone, screw everyone else. You can't do that.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. Like,
because then you're a douchebag as well, and might as well be as one of the deadbeats. Like
Exactly.
you're not helping society whatsoever. You're just making it worse, and you're creating more deadbeats doing that. Not just deadbeats, people who are trying hard and they can't get anywhere because of people like you. Who are all like me, not you, Nima.
I get it.
You know,
Like that's it's like in the off chance. Let's say in the off chance that you and I become really successful doing what we're doing, right? Talking about movies, talking about games, talking about culture, whatever it is that we're doing. If we become multimillionaires in the off chance, is it possible that having that much money and that much wealth, let's say wealth, not money, having that much wealth and security will put us in the category of, you know what? Now that I have it, I kind of don't want to pay taxes. I think about that on the back end. I don't want to, like, I imagine if I feel this way because I don't have the money.
I was thinking about this like yesterday. I was like, okay, my pool business is going well. It's going to keep growing slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Once I make like the next bracket, am I going to be okay paying much more tax? And I'm telling myself like, no, probably not. I'm probably going to hate it. Yeah. But should I complain or should I do it? You know, so I asked myself this question yesterday. But if, like you said, we start making a lot of revenue from this, then with that money and we'll have more time to do this pretty much because we could quit other jobs. Then our responsibility is to help.
I agree. I think it'll
help the people by doing what we're doing and bringing these points out, which is what a lot of people are doing.
But it will be a lot easier to do that in a society that supports it. It will be tougher to do that in an American society.
I think the youth, like people our age, like the millenniums, they're totally like, I mean, I'm hoping, and this is what I'm seeing around me, like, yeah, there's a massive change. 30 years from now.
Did it happen again? Panically signing.
No, it's still on. I don't know. I think when the computer is sleeping for more than maybe 30 seconds, it does it. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. But it's probably because the hard drive stops.
I don't know. I have no idea.
So, so you're saying the millennials and 30 years from now, the society will be completely different.
Hopefully it'll be better 30 years from now. It might be worse. I have no idea. I'm not like a sociologist or whatever you call that. But that'd be interesting. I'd love to interview someone who studied the evolution of our society and you know where it could be going, but that must be really a hard science, a lot of theoretical things going on there.
Dude, this episode's all over the place. I just realized.
It's so all over the place. It starts with this weird Skype conversation with, but let's just tone it down because that was pretty intense. Every beginning of episodes now, if we have questions, we talk about them or comments from Twitter and all that. If we don't, we try to invite people to do so.
That's fine.
So the movie was okay. It was not the best documentary I've seen. I think it was really creative, very original. I'm glad it happened. Not her going through this hardship. But like I'm glad she was like, I gotta record this. It was an instinct for her because you know she's 34. I think she's been doing that a lot of. Probably the majority of her adult life, if not all of it. So it was probably instinctual for her to pick up her phone and start recording her thoughts and everything because she said it like, this is going to help me. And I'm glad she did that because that's awesome. That's so creative and original.
No, I agree. And I everything about it was, for me personally, was fantastic. And I feel like hats off to her for doing it. But I want to understand the psychology behind how knowing that you're going to be recorded could impact how you are as a person. And this is not a conscious decision at all. Like I'm not saying
You
even
mean
if it's true, she's not
just
faking
in her
it.
case or
No.
in everyone's case?
In everybody's case.
Well, okay, I've recorded music and people singing and all that, and there is this weird thing. As soon as you tell someone, okay, it's recording,
they change.
you lose like quite a percentage of their presence. That presence goes away. If the presence goes away, you're not 100% genuine like you should be as an artist. That just goes for my experience in the music world. And sometimes, like you were saying earlier, when you record and don't tell the artist that it's recording just because you're trying to get leveled, so you're trying to get that person to sing a little bit, they have no idea it's recording. I've heard in the music industry, like I've heard stories of songs, entire songs being recorded that way, and that's the song that ends up on the album because the artist, thinking that it's not recording, is completely letting loose, and it's beautiful, completely genuine. The song is like beautiful.
Dude, what is
so
that?
yeah, it does affect. I don't know. Neuroscience is that what we gotta ask neuroscience?
Dude, I wow, this is incredible. I feel like the fact that, let's say if there's a recording device involved, right? If there's a camera or a microphone involved, how it slightly changes the outcome of things. Isn't that the way quantum physics works?
Whoa.
Dude, I'm not even kidding.
I'm here. Please expand on that.
Because I thought there was a theory in quantum physics that at every possible moment, every possible thing is happening. Meaning,
right.
Let's say
the multiverses.
Not even multiverses. Like particles from this cup. God, I feel like I'm wrong, and this
No,
sounds
it's
funny.
all right.
If particles from this cup, as long as you and I are not in this room, supposedly particles could be everywhere.
Right.
But as long as we
In this room or
in universe,
okay.
But as long as you add an observer to it,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when it comes into existence as this cup right here.
Right.
So would that be the same thing? Because you're adding an observer to a thing, it's all of a sudden it changes.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't really quite see the correlation, but I guess, I don't know. I don't know. It's this whole psychology thing for this one. What you're talking about is like way broader though. Because I mean, everything is made out of atoms.
Yeah.
And so every atom is, like, the air atom touches the plastic atom of the cup, touches the coffee atoms in the cup.
Yeah.
And so everything is touching everything. So yeah, but an artist, someone, first of all, a trained artist would not give a shit if someone's recording them. But it's like when we started this podcast, as soon as the first one or the few episodes that followed, like we pressed record, all of a sudden we both like got a little nervous and lost some of our presence in the moment. And so it made for more awkward conversations. But as we're getting more used to this, we don't really care that it's recording. We don't really care that it's going to end up on the internet. We're way more natural about it.
And what one of the fascinating things about it is, and if you ever listen to our podcast as a whole, the progression from the beginning episode to the end of the episode, it's fascinating. Like you get more relaxed, you're just chit-chatting because
it's like three-quarters of the way is when we're like we forget that we're recording ourselves and we just go for it. It's just probably what's happening right now. Dude, it's awesome, man. We're gonna get to a point, man, maybe episode 30 or 40 or 50, like a year from now, where it's going to be like, as soon as we start, it will be like in our element.
Okay.
And we're still trying to figure out the structure thing. I just noticed that the questions you were asking at the beginning of this episode kind of led to the brain.
Yeah.
And then led into the topic of the movie we just watched.
I think one of the things that you, Ali, Joe, all of us need to get better is just figuring out the structure of it. That's it.
Yes, but again, structure is really important. We had some structure and it was beautiful, and we tried it again and it didn't work so well. It's a very it's a fine line between good structure and good, genuinity. Like just let it again flow. Whatever happens. Like it's a mixture of structure and what's the word I'm looking for?
Chaos?
No, like
genuineness, conversation.
Yeah, just regular conversations without going off of a
script,
prompter.
Right? So I think the key for that, I imagine at least, would be like imagine telling somebody that, you know, dropping in the middle of the desert and saying, hey, you can do anything you want, go anywhere you want, do that, right? You get a certain reaction out of that, as opposed to dropping somebody in the middle of the desert saying, you can do whatever you want, just make sure you go east.
Right.
Whatever you do on the way to go east,
yeah,
it's up to you. I think we need to find a way to do that. Like,
I understand.
Find some sort of a guideline structure that doesn't limit us and doesn't control what we say, but it guides us in a certain way for each topic or each episode.
Exactly. And I think that's what you've been doing with the list is getting there.
Not good at it yet, but
it's okay. Like my biggest thing is we need to start learning how to enunciate better and like find ways to train our brains during the days to be able to have the words in our vocabulary expand and come out whenever we want. Like you've probably noticed, like sometimes you're having a conversation with someone and you're so present in that moment that the words and the sentences come out and makes yourself sound like a scientist that's completely knowledgeable about what you're talking about in that moment. And we can get there. That's how, like, gosh, like some of these conversations on NPR, like the science conversations, like the interviewer calls the guy and then they have this in-depth conversation and they've maybe talked 5 minutes prior to this to set up the interview, and it's like phenomenal. The interviewer doesn't even know much about the subject at hand, but he's able to ask perfect questions.
Well, I mean, that's a skill set that takes a while to learn.
But is it something that you can learn, or is it something that some people have and some people don't?
You can learn it.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think some people are, I hate using that
innately
word, but
better?
Gifted?
No. I think you might have certain things that made you who you are in your past that might make it easier for you to learn that skill set or utilize that skill set.
So you don't think some people are just better at communicating than others? But then at the same time, there's people out there that are better at music than others.
Are you talking about like a savant?
No, I'm talking about people who are at a young age, like
their brain's wired in a way that it picks up.
Sure. Because again, we could talk about the blank slate thing. Like some people believe in the blank slate, like you're born as a blank slate, and everything that happens to you in your life builds what you are. Or some people are born. That's your parents' DNA influenced a lot of. I'm kind of in between those two. Like a lot of it comes from your parents, your DNA, your grandparents, whatever. Is that the DNA? Yeah, that's the DNA.
Your genes and everything.
Your genes, yeah. And then some of it comes from...
What the hell just happened to your phone?
My
Keep
phone,
going.
it's just weird.
No, I think you're right. A lot of it... Like...
In essence, are we...
Go ahead.
We're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep getting a lot better. But would we be a lot better faster if we were predispositioned to...
Sure.
Okay, so are we wasting our time?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think we're going to get better. Me personally, I know my brain, like Nima, I'm not going to say my last name. Nima's brain has certain hard limits set on it. Like it's not anywhere near the way my brain needs to be. And a lot of that could be my fault because of the choices I made in my past or how I lived my life, but it has certain limits. But that doesn't stop me from pushing what I know right now to be further and further and further and further. Right.
Yeah.
If I see a part of my life that's lacking, including my, let's say, my social skills, my communication skills, all of those things are lacking. I could improve those. I can see myself improving those, and I can see a path to improve those.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a hard end to it. I don't think, like for you and I, our ability to ask questions, our ability to talk, all those things can continuously improve. Other people might have a much better path to that improvement, much faster, much more efficient.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I don't think that makes them any better than us.
Right.
Like, I don't think we should not do it because, let's say, like, freaking Obama is really charming no matter what he does. Like, like it's just, like, like, other people might be better at it, but it doesn't mean we can't get to the same place that they are.
One of the reasons I'm really happy I'm doing this for my own like selfish reasons is because I know I'm going to get way more comfortable at speaking.
Yeah.
And that's important because it's a good way to go through life if you really know how to communicate. And I'm just trying to learn that through this. And then it's also really fun. Gosh, I wish we started this like 5 years ago when we were having awesome like drinks at the bar and talking awesome conversations.
And we still are. Let's just keep doing it. And one of the things like you and I talked about how we're gonna start changing the structure of the podcast. It's not gonna be so much about we're gonna see Captain America, yay! Let's talk about the crazy action scenes.
Actually, we decided not to.
Yeah, we're not. So, and one of the things that makes me excited about that is I have not wasted, because movies, it's a great medium to take in.
You've watched, like, you're always watching movies.
I'm always watching shit, and the thing is, like, I want to go back to reading more.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like me consuming media through visual, like, let's say, moving pictures, has taken away from my ability to read as well and take in as much vocabulary. So the fact that we're moving away from this podcast structure, that every week
of the movies
I have to watch fucking something.
That's annoying. But like when Star Wars comes out, obviously that's happening.
We'll talk about those things.
We'll awesome talk about movies that we both want to watch, for example.
And what I want StudioCast to be, and part of like Studio as a whole, what this thing that we want to create, I feel like I'm stealing this saying from somebody. We want to exist at this intersection that has culture, has media, our consumption of it, our thoughts about society as a whole, all these things that are happening at the same time. We can exist there, as opposed to existing just in the media end of it, where, hey, let's talk about movies and how great crazy movies are, or let's just talk about society. We can exist in this world where we're creating shit, but that has to do with all of this.
I have 2 questions about that.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by living in that moment, in that space and time, but it's still gonna be like you and the other people involved in that, in making that content within your life and the events around you and the time we're at. Yeah. So it's just gonna be that. It's not gonna be the whole world just because you're just one person.
No. I'm not saying the whole world, but I'm saying like it's not focused in a way that limits us. As long as we're focused in a way,
but
it's hard for me to explain.
If you're focused, then how do you make something so focused and so broad at the same time?
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like
that's so hard, and it sounds impossible, but I don't think it is. My other question was, when you started Stadio with your brother, did you? If you're telling me this now, that means when you guys started this, it was just to have some kind of like basement, because you were not sure what you were going to do with this, other than like, okay, we like making videos and stuff. Let's have something that we can at least post on and then see where it goes.
Like I've been saying this to everybody for so long, and it sounds like a evil dictator or whatever person. I want to take over the world, and I don't mean that I want to take over like I want to own everybody, but I want to create so much that I want to put it out to the world, and I want the world to see not me, but our creations.
With this, that's you in a way. Art is again, a lot of art is a self-indulging thing.
It is, but what I want to share with the world, I don't want it to be a selfie, if that makes sense.
Yes, but at the same time, like, do you know? It totally makes sense. It's not going to be about you, but at the same time, you do want to show the world some things that you think are right or wrong.
Oh, sure. Okay. My opinions.
Yeah, your opinions, but your opinions are you.
Oh, sure. I don't want to say my, because it's the we in this is really important. Like our creations, as we're going through this whole journey of creating, could be garbage, but they are incredible things. Mm-hmm. The we in it is really important. So as much as we collectively come together and create something that all of us agree on, and on the path to that creation being released, there's going to be a lot of disagreements. But if we as a whole, as a group, can create something that we can present to the world, that's the important thing for me.
Right.
That product that's being presented. So like I've had ideas for movies for ages, stories, could be games. It could be something as simple as discussions. Like that's what I want to have is, I'm very much an introvert person. Mm-hmm. Like I can just chillax by myself and still have a good time, be happy. But releasing something to the world, or not even so much contributing, because I don't know if it's gonna make the world a better thing, but putting things out for the world is super important for me.
Right.
Like creating something out of nothing.
Why? Okay. It just I'm the same way with music. And remember when
I rambled.
Remember when we were saying, no, it's awesome. I love it. Remember when we were saying that we're briefly, like a few episodes ago, we're like, no, we shouldn't talk about our projects. Like, because we have like this idea, storyline that we're building.
We have a few of them actually. Yeah.
same for me. Like back to what you were just saying. Like I want to make music. I know sometimes my lifetime, hopefully within the next 15 years, I'm going to put out a solid freaking EP with a few songs, and they're going to mean so much to me. And back to what you were saying, it's I can't help thinking that it is a self-indulging thing. Like with that piece of art, I'm hoping I help people through, what it is to be human, the human, condition or whatever. But it's still like, I feel like there's that selfish part of me that's like, I'm also doing this to show off my skills. And I believe that's what a lot of people are doing in art.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
it's a self-indulgent thing. Like, so when you're telling me that you want to make content and I'm asking you why is that something you absolutely want to do?
Because I have ideas. I have
you want to show the world like your ideas, right?
Like this,
unless it's to help some people in the world feel better about the human condition, then you're making it to show the world like, hey, I can do this.
No, not necessarily that. Like
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Okay. And I think that's a very valid
I'm
thing
totally
to come from.
like guilty of that, and I know it's wrong, but at the same time, I'm human. Whatever.
Yeah, we have different personalities.
So, so what is it?
But for me, what I want to create and whatever that thing is that I'm creating, even though I have a lot of it, I like to draw, I like to write, I like to make movies. I like to make, like right now I got a synthesizer and I'm fascinated by what's happening out of that into whatever I'm doing on the computer. It's incredible. Like I sit there and at home, I'm just pressing a button. I'm just listening to it and I'm like, okay, let go. And I'm just pressing it again and it's amazing. And like I get goosebumps. But my thing is whatever I create and whatever I put out there, if I, let's say we make, let's say a show, right? And we get it done, we put it out there in the world. That for me, it's pure joy. Like the fact that it's happened and it's out in the world, it's incredible. I don't care if the world sees it at all. I don't care who sees it.
Okay, no, I totally understand. I'm the same way as far as stop me if I'm wrong. It's like about the process of creating something and having a solid final project that you can be proud for yourself that you've made this happen, regardless if people like it or not.
Yeah. I want to cover the world with shit that we're going to nonstop create. Yeah. I don't care if any of the 7 billion people on the planet, which I think we're coming close to 8. I imagine we're coming close to 8.
I think 7,400 million?
74.
Whatever is 7.4
billion.
Yeah.
So I don't care if any of those people see it, if all of them collectively hate it. Because like you have no idea the high that I get every time we do an episode of this.
Yeah, because we made something happen.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel like you did something.
Yeah, like not even accomplish something. It's like creating something, like just like sculpting something, right? Like molding something.
So it's the process of
It's the process. It's
like
amazing.
Right now, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
But knowing that we're going to put this on the internet.
And it's going to be awful, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to me, I do. In a way that some of it I know is great, but most of it is probably awful. Yeah. That's, again, to my own perspective. Yeah. The fact that I made it, we're making it right now is awesome. And the fact that it's going to be presented to the rest of the world and whoever finds it can listen to it, that has a really weird, exciting feeling for me because I know it kind of sucks and I know it's kind of good. And do I really want it out there?
You're like, I can do better.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
It's part of me getting better as a human being, I guess.
I get it. Yeah,
it's really hard to like. We've just touched something that's really hard to explain.
I know. I feel like I might get it because like you're releasing something that's out there that you know for a fact that there's major flaws.
Someone's here, but keep talking. All right, it's cool. What's up, Phil?
Dude, come in.
We're almost done, anyways.
You have food.
Food. Have you ever been to Mad Greens?
Yeah, dude.
Is this the place that you told me about last week?
Yeah.
What kind of food do they have?
Salads, delicious sandwiches. Yeah, we're gonna end our conversation today, but it was super epic. We've been talking for over an hour.
I don't care. What was I saying? Fuck.
Content creating, the fact that we're putting this out into the world.
You're putting it out there, and the fact that you feel like it has flaws, it creates like uneasy feelings inside of you, right? Because you feel like you can do better.
That's also kind of exciting. It's like playing a live show as a band.
Yeah.
Some of it's great, some of it's not so great. That's exciting. Riding that weird wave of like, this is not so good, but this is cool what I'm doing right now.
I feel like if you don't release those things that have flaws,
that's you can't be a perfectionist in this world.
That's what I'm saying. That as long as you focus on creating and
Yeah.
not worrying about the flaws that are within that
Exactly.
creation, you're fine.
Exactly.
If you want to end it
And
now,
I
asshole,
bet
you
that's
can.
one of the biggest success stories are people who just started knowing there's going to be a lot of flaws and then just got better over time. Anyways, that's our time for today, guys. Thanks for listening to the usual rambling.
Very long.
If you have listened to this all the way through, the 1 or 2 or 3 of you guys, just comment and we will bring it up next episode. We're trying to make this more interesting. So thanks a lot. Now I'm going to go jam with my band Day Weather. This is Remy.
This is Nima.
Have a good day.
Bye.